And I just want to share something really cool that happened today. Well, yesterday. So this week on the podcast, the episode is called Stretching into Confidence. And Stretching into Confidence is a results show from the last Rewiring Your Core Wound Pattern program, which happened last September. We started in September, we ended in November. And since then, there has been Awaken Your Dream Life. And then I published this results show this week. And one of the participants in there, Chef Karen, shout out to Chef Karen. So Karen's been with me for a while listening to the podcast and found me through another podcast and did a few courses and signed up for my membership and then decided that she was ready to do the Rewire program last year. And as I was editing it and sharing it with all of you, we talked about the highlights of what happened in a 3-month period. Anytime you do something, you want to change habits, you want to change your life, you want to change how you feel, you want to change how you act, you want to change how you are and being different in the same situation. There are several methods that we use in the Rewire program, but there are several methods in the world that you do, whether you work with somebody or not, that you can add into your life in order to make those changes. Well, yesterday, I got a really great another feedback from Karen. We had a conversation about what her next step is going to be and what program she wants to continue with because she had such amazing results in the Rewire. But she told me a story about one of the things that we do in the program. And whether you do the program or not, this is something for you all to hear regardless. When you know that you have certain habits that you anchor your core wounds. So let's say you have a core wound of abandonment. My first question to you, and you may not know that's why you do a program like this, but let's just assume that you think you have an abandonment wound. So I always start off by asking, well, what are the 3 ways in which you abandon yourself? Because if the core wound was just the wound and it happened one time, then that's something we might be able to get over and shift on our own through time and experience. But what often happens with these core wounds is it creates a belief in us. It creates a belief that says, I was abandoned, therefore I'm not important. Or I was abandoned, therefore I'm not lovable, or there's something wrong with me. And that belief system gets embedded in us, and then we believe it, and then we act on that. So moving forward, we have to look at, well, how do I abandon myself? And I usually ask people to choose a couple different ways, maybe 3 ways for each of their core wounds as to how they do that to themselves actively, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. And then you have to decide after you could see in your own life and reflect upon, how do I do that to myself? Once you understand that, now we have some information on what to do about it, what to proactively do to create a new message of that I am valuable, or to stop doing the thing that continues to let us know that we're not important. So in the case of Karen, one of the things that she wanted to work on, and Karen, I know I hope you're going to be okay with me sharing all this because I'm being very specific about that it's you. But generally, for all people that are out there thinking, okay, I'm single, I'd like a relationship. I feel lonely. I need a better quality of relationship, what have you. One of the things that based on when I wrote Fit to Love, and I'm really, really passionate about wanting people to understand and know, is that when we base our happiness on external circumstances, we're always a victim to circumstances. So what would Abraham say? Well, the only reason you want what you want is because you think you'll feel better when you have it. So I think I'll feel better when I have this thing that I want. Well, how can I just feel better now? In fact, you have to feel better now in order for you to manifest it anyway. But it's the feeling that you're after, not the thing. So when it comes to looking at, I want a partner, I want to be in a relationship, and that's awesome. And if we look at that I don't have one and the lack of having a partner as a problem, now I'm in a loop of looking at looking at my circumstances and making a judgment about that and not appreciating or not being okay with where I am now. I'm sure most of you who are on my page or channel or have followed me for a while understand that you have to make peace with where you are in order for where you are to change. You can't say, I hate this, whatever it is. You can't hate your body. You can't hate your health. You can't hate your relationship. You can't hate your job and manifest something better because you're in the frequency of the problem, not of the solution. So one thing Karen and I worked on at the beginning of the Rewire program last year was getting her to really enjoy and appreciate her alone time. Now, for someone that wants to be with a relationship, you might think, well, but I don't want to be alone. No, but if you don't, but you have to appreciate where you are in order for where you are to change. So we did some rewiring, some habits and things that I had recommended that she do, some homework that was about acknowledging and appreciating and about the things that she loved being alone. Because in most relationships, until you realize how you change in relationships, it's like the grass is always greener, right? If you're single and after being single for a while, you're thinking, "Oh, I'd like a relationship," but you forget who you become in relationship. You forget the freedoms that you lack in relationships. And not everybody, I'm just saying in general, people's habits and patterns. Then it's like the grass is always greener. Then if you're in a miserable relationship, you're like, "God, I'm so much better when I'm single. I don't have to deal with anybody else. I can just be free. I don't have to check in with anybody." Right? So again, these are conditions that we're trying to avoid. So some of the methods that we do in the group, they're based on your habits, your patterns, your needs, your wants, your core wounds. But I had Karen spend time focusing on appreciating her alone time. And at first, she didn't really want to do it because she didn't want to tell the universe that she wanted to stay alone. And that wasn't the goal. The goal isn't. The goal is lack of resistance. The goal is appreciating what I have and where I am right now so I can release resistance. Because when I can appreciate it, I'm in alignment. But when I fight it, when I reject it, I now have resistance, and resistance blocks manifestation. So what she told me yesterday as we were discussing what her next steps are was that she actually really appreciates her alone time now. And I thought, see, it's just 3 months. We just did 3 months. And very specific things that we chose to focus on got rewired. Okay. Like being valued and not devaluing yourself, enjoying your alone time, not feeling abandoned, not feeling all the different feelings. So I just wanted to share that because while the longer you do things differently, the more rewiring, repatterning, neuroplasticity happens, of course. But with some really focused, concentrated, well thought out strategy, you can make a lot of difference in just 3 months. So for those of you that don't know, there is a new Rewiring Your Core Wound Pattern program. It is happening in March. I already have, I think, 3 people who are signed up for it. So there's a few more spaces left. But if you're interested, you can go to jenniferzanes.com/rewire. I don't know that there'll be another one this year or not, because I also want to make sure I have enough time to take people the entire way through 6 months if they so desire. You don't have to do 6 months. You can just do 3. But I want to leave room for that momentum to keep going. It's really important that, 3 or 6 months of your life of focusing on your happiness level and focusing on changing your patterns, behaviors, and core wounds gets your energy, get your intention, get your attention. Because if you've been going 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, never paying attention to what's going on the inside, and now you're going to focus on it, you're going to start to see changes happening. And I want to keep that momentum going so people have the option of making it more. So if you're interested, I'll put the link below, but I wanted just to come on and share with you what's going on in case anyone's interested. I know a few of you have reached out to me because you didn't do last year and you wanted to make sure you did it this year. So I don't want you to miss out. jjfilzanes.com/rewire to apply. There's no cost. We jump on a call. We see if it's a fit. And we can change some of those habits and patterns, and we can change some of those core wounds. And I love seeing that. So thank you, Karen, for sharing that with me and for continually showing me how the work that we did is changing your life and other people's lives. She's not the only one, but she's the most recent one. And it just tickles me to know that within 3 months, we can make some really big changes in the way that you talk to yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you hold yourself, the way you're out in the world, and know that makes a big difference. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.